Welcome back. Now, this morning on the Chamber, we take a look at compulsory acquisition of land by government. Godfrey Tanam has this report.
Globally, land is described as one of the important assets. It is not only seen as important to the farmer, but it is considered as the measure for economic growth and wealth in modern days. Because of urbanization, the quest for land has increased in the cities and towns. To promote economic, cultural and social wealth for citizens, government needs to provide basic infrastructure. To make this possible, government has to acquire land for these interventions. Since government has no land on its own, most often these lands are acquired compulsorily. Many have blamed the implementing agencies in the country for carrying out the process, ending up negatively affecting landowners. Good governance has been undermined as a result of compulsory acquisition of land. Many have suffered due to the procedures of the legislative tool, making compensation payment a big challenge. Due to these challenges, some people are still pursuing compensations due to their grandparents. According to research, out of 692 sites acquired by the government in 2008, only 20% were properly acquired, with the remaining 80% without any legal acquisition procedure followed.
My guest in the chamber this morning is Victor Kwajoga Adaudu, and he's a legal practitioner and the head of Adaudu Law Consultancy, an Accra-based firm, and he will shed some more light on compulsory acquisitions of land here in Ghana. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Sandra, and good morning to your cherished viewers.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Let's go straight into it and have you define for us what exactly compulsory acquisition means.
What we say compulsory acquisition, it is something that the Constitution or the supreme law of this country, which governs us, has made provision for. That because of providing, government has to provide for the social and economic well-being of the people. Government will need land. Land acquisition or land belongs to individuals, it belongs to the family, it belongs to school, and government needs this land.
Meaning government does not own land in this country?
Yeah, the government has some land. The ones that it owns are the ones that it has compulsorily acquired.
Right.
So because of the peculiar problem we have, or the cultural values that we have, that places it is only the family, others it is the stool, government need land to execute some of its projects. So the Constitution, almost all the constitutions we had made provision for. Now, before the 1992 Constitution, where we find that if you compulsorily acquire land, you need to pay fair compensation for it. Before then, we had the Land Commission, the Land Valuation Board. So we had some legislative, let's say, act, that is Act of Parliament, which says that one is the State Lands Act. We had the Lands Administration, normally here Act 125, and the rest Cap 6. Then we have even State Property and Contracts Act, Public Conveyance Act. All these ones were put in place so that government can acquire land.
Okay, now the term compulsory acquisition, it means it's by force. You don't have a choice. When the government comes to you and says, we want your land, you have to give it to them. Why can't government just go through the normal process of buying land like every other person does in this country? Why must they compulsorily acquire it? Why can't they pay the fair, I come to you, okay, you're selling this parcel of land, ask me for the price, and I, just like any other contract for the purchase of property in this country.
I think that's why when government is going to pay compensation to you, it is the same as the market value.
In reality,
it is so. They buy. In reality, they buy.
Okay, so when they come to you and say, we need this piece of land for this
they don't even inform you from the beginning.
Tell us about the process. How does government go about it?
You know, the law says that for public defense, security, public morality, anything that inures to the benefit of the people of Ghana, anything that is intended or will inure benefit.
That means for whatever you're
any
going
land
to
that we
put
use, yes,
on that land must be in the public interest, something that will benefit the public.
It will benefit
That's
public.
the only circumstances under which you can compose.
So if it will benefit the people of Ghana, government will look at that land and say that we want. Normally, it is the political authorities that do this. They decide. They have the land commission. As they do the operational aspect of it, the decision is taken by the political authorities that, listen, we've seen this land in the interest of the public. We think we want to acquire this land. Then the operation, the implementation is given to land commission. So now the division, land valuation, they will. Yes, but before then they have an advisory committee. That advisory committee is composed, and land commission is their secretary. They look at the land, then they advise whether it can be. We should take it. It can acquire very small land from about 8 kilometers to a very large extent. It doesn't mean that there should be a number of hectares before the government can acquire. So far as it
doesn't matter the size.
Now, when the advisory committee look at it, they sit down. Now, when they sit down, then they now inform the people who have an interest in that. They inform you. They also paste a notice. Then that's when the process of executive instrument. Now, when we say executive instrument, government does not just come and take your land. So they will have to publish that by law, today we are taking this land to be government land. So that's the executive instrument. It takes some time, almost about 2 years when they are doing it. But before then, they have taken the land. Then they give the owners. Now, the people who have interest or the owners, it could be individual, it could be family, it could be for the community. So when it is taken and you are giving notice, it is published also in Gazette. And you even have to go and paste it on the land, a very conspicuous place that everybody can see. Now, on that advisory committee, we don't have the owners of the land on that committee. I think there's a reason why you don't have them. Now, if you inform them, then they now come and make application for compensation, how much they want to be paid. Right. So that's what is that. I believe that the reason why they do not let them to be on the committee is that when government is going to pay, it is not what it's on the land, the value of the properties and others on the land that they will take into consideration, or what is going to be done. It's the market value at that time. But if new development
by land valuation,
yes, okay. Land commission, they will determine the price.
Right.
Then it will be paid. We had some problems, so now it has to be sent to the attorney generals after they've done the evaluation. Attorney general, then it used to be SFO, Serious Fraud Office, now IOCO. Right. They would look at the compensation and vet it because there have been some problems. Now, we don't really have problem when it is freehold. When we say freehold, it means that it belongs to you perpetually. And you know, land belongs to the dead, belongs to the living, and the yet unborn. So when it comes to issue of land, it wreaks emotion.
Right.
People, its emotion is up. Okay. It's a land issue. So with the freehold, it belongs to individuals straight. There's no problem. If it belongs to families, the head of family or communities, then you need to identify who is the right person, because you see claimants coming in, and the law says that if other people come in as claimants, the money will be deposited in a yielding account. Government will put it there. When they go to court or the problem, they slag it out, and the actual person will get it in pay.
Okay, speaking of money, and now Article 22 provides for the prompt and adequate compensation for these compulsorily acquired lands. in reality, is this the case? Are people paid promptly and are they paid adequately?
Yeah, the issue, I believe that the money is made available if you make the application, the people who have interest. But because we see some litigation come, the rightful...
And during this period, does government, do they have access to the land?
Yeah, the government goes ahead.
They go straight on into the land.
Yeah, they go ahead and take the land. So all that you are due is the compensation. And one of the things is you determine the market value.
Even before you've actually received your compensation, government has already gone on to the land.
Yeah, government has already taken the land. Because the moment it is done by executive instrument and gazetted, it is actual notice to everybody.
Can you give us some examples of some of the lands limited that have been compulsorily acquired by state?
In Accra, that would be before the 1992 constitution. We had maybe the University of Ghana, all the lands, the Achimota School, the lands that has been taken. Airport City, it was land that was taken for the airport and other parts that was taken by government. Now, government took most of those things with the social consideration to provide accommodation for its people. But from 1992, what we realize is that, and the constitution makes it clear that if you take it for a purpose and it's not being used, they have the first option that you should take it.
That's the rightful owner.
The rightful owner. And the caveat is that if they had already been paid compensation, they will pay part or the compensation that has been paid to them already.
They will pay only part of the
part
money
or the same.
Why part? Why not everything?
No, it depends on the valuation of the land.
What if the land has appreciated in value within that period? Do they still pay what they were paid?
No. That's why it depends on those dynamics that's worked by land valuation. Now, the issue that came up was that because we saw private people, government has given them private people they were developing. Issues came up and said that the airport city, for example, these are private people are putting it. So it is not a purpose, public purpose. And some went to court. And
so sometimes the land actually reverts back if government doesn't use it for the purpose for which it acquired it for.
Yeah. Yes, government has even given huge lands. I think the past administration, huge lands to people, the people at Wager. The lands that were acquired for irrigation purpose, some had been given back to them. Nungwa, they've given lands back to them. Some lands that were acquired for the University of Ghana from Katamanso that was not being used. It's been given back to them. So there had been a white paper.
So after what period of time do you make a claim for the land to come back, to revert to you, if you see that government has not used it for the purpose for which it acquired it for?
There's no definite time frame for it.
So maybe government compulsorily takes your land after about 5 years. You see that there's nothing happening. What is the process? How do you go about getting your land back?
That's cases that we had, that a lot of the traditional council, the Bubuashi lands, you see Ghana Telecom those days, they have put up real estate for their employees, and they went to court, and the court said if the land is being used to create job and even creates revenue for the government, it is still being used for the benefit of the whole society, public. So those are assets now. The only thing that you can be given, unless the government itself decides and say that no, this land we have taken, we are not using it, we want to give it back, we give the first option to the
So it's
owners.
government that actually makes that we are not going to use it. You can't say I've seen that the land is bare, nothing is happening there, so I want it back.
And that's where we had the problem of people encroaching on the land. Now you could see around the Suotum April, when they had the National Police Depot and the huge land was acquired over there, the owners and other people encroach on it. So till date, anybody who has land around there has put up structure, they don't even have document to support because they had encroached on. And there was an executive instrument that acquired the land. All those. Some of the issue were some people says they were not paid the compensation, and because we were not paid compensation, we've been waiting for long. That was the reason most of them have encroached on the land. If you go to La Paz race course, it was to be used for sports council, but people encroach on those land. So that is why I believe in 1992, looking at all this, the Constitution says that let's pay prompt, fair, and a market value compensation to the owners, so that we don't still have the problem where government acquired. Recently, I think government has acquired the Atuabo when there was this gas, there were agitation in here. Government has acquired it. Now it is for the traditional council or the people who owns that land to make an application, a claim for compensation, and they will be paid.
Okay. Now, you said that if government decides that they will no longer have use for that land, the rightful owners have the first claim to the land. That means they have the first right of purchase to the land.
Yeah.
If they decide that they don't want it, what happens?
No,
is it fair game for anybody at all to purchase that land?
Definitely.
Okay, at the same market value.
Even you could see that some of the development, because now we have shifted from the social consideration where land was acquired, is now we have economic consideration. So you can see redevelopment of government bungalows. Some are being sold to private people who put up high-rise building, but government still have in the prime, some of the prime areas. You could see this going up because now it's about economic consideration. But you see, those lands, you cannot give it freehold. It's only a lease or a license.
So even if government acquires it on a freehold basis, when they are selling it back after they decide they don't want to use it, it's only on the lease basis.
Yeah, the people they give it to is, and the statutory companies that they give it to, is only on lease or license basis. You can never hold a freehold. Okay.
Can we say that the compulsory acquisition of land by the state is kind of amounts to a violation of the right of landowners?
No.
Because there's a negative connotation to it, as in the fact that it affects the rightful owners of the land.
No.
Because everyone has the right to own property. So
yes, the Constitution even guarantees it. Article 18, it guarantees that anybody can own any property, anything, and land can be owned. You are guaranteed, so nobody can take it from you forcefully. It is when it is in the interest of the public, and they think that land over there will be in the interest of the public, then government can take it. It is for the common good of everybody. So at the end of the day, it's a balancing act where your right as an individual is submit to the common good of the people. However, the rather you are paid the compensation. You must be paid that compensation. So you kickstart and make claim for that compensation that you have to be paid. And normally it is done at the market value.
Okay. Are there any limitations to compulsory acquisition? Is there anything or any process that can prevent government from compulsorily acquiring one's property, one's land?
Yeah, if the government identify it, I'm sure that you can go to the court, because you have a right to say that this land, this is what it is for me, this is what it knows. Government wants to take it, or government has taken it, because government is just the same as the normal human being. You can take to court, or they can take you to court. So the courts are there to determine whether that particular land can be taken by government or not. So government will then have to go and say it is for this purpose that I want to take it. And the courts are there to protect it, so that we don't see people's right being deprived of their right. I see a land there because maybe I'm in government or I'm not in government. Somebody thinks that land has to be taken. The courts are there to protect. So if I say this is my land, what they want to use it for, it cannot. But that's not the purpose. The purpose, they say, is contrary to what that land can be used for. I believe the court will determine.
Has it ever happened, to the best of your knowledge?
The best of my knowledge for now, I haven't heard any that had happened.
So there are some grounds for limitation, the grounds that you can prevent government from taking your land.
Definitely, I believe so. That if it goes to the court, and the court has to do justice without fear or favor, they are there. So I don't think that there will be the court stands as to this what government says, and if they think it's wrong, they will still go ahead. No, they will look at it dispassionately if it inures to the benefit of society.
Okay, let me just chip in this little angle here. With regards to demolitions, is government supposed to pay compensation?
No,
as well.
You see, That's why I'll say one of the compensation, if you want to pay, you pay to the allodia owners. That is the people who had been on the land, who found the land. It's not like they've given the land to people who were staying on it, they just there, they are, let me say, strangers who come and they stay there, they encroach. Then when you want to move, you should say that they have social rights, so they should be paid. No, the law is clear on that. It says that if that is the way we want, then people would then go onto others their property, go into their house, and when you want to evict them in their house, he says, give me money to go and rent, if not I'll live in your house. No, you should know that it does not belong to you. So far as you encroach, that's the position of the law. It doesn't matter how you can stay on somebody's land for a number of years, it does not belong to you. The only thing people think that they should be given that right is that the law also says that if somebody is developing your property and he has developed the property without you saying anything for 12 years, it is presumed to be his.
That's after you're talking about adverse possession.
Yeah, adverse possession here. But if the people are on the land, they know it belongs to somebody, and they know that the owner of the land comes over. You cannot say that because we've been on the land for a number of years, we should be compensated. No.
Will adverse possession come in with regards to compulsory acquired lands? For instance, if the state should acquire a property and not leave it bare for about 12 to 14 years or so?
Yeah, 12 years.
Yeah, some people come and encroach on the land. Can they challenge government?
And I believe so. Because if the land, that's why you could see that there have been places that people have encroached on. People who were mandated to take care, maybe inadvertently did not, supervise the land, and that's why we have a lot of people who have encroached. At the end of the day, the government also feels a lot of people have encroached on it. What can we do? We can't go and demolish it. That's why you see them. But I always believe that because they've developed the land, they sat down, nobody said anything, and it's over 12 years. And I believe if such a case, a scenario happens and they go, I believe that the government will lose, whether it is state compulsorily acquired or not. Because if your land is there, and because that's how we all got land. Our forefathers and people, they went into the bush or they traveled, they found land, they settled on it, they were farming on the land.
And after a period of years,
it became their own. Yeah.
Okay. Finally, what is the process to go through if government, well, let me not say refuse, but delays in paying compensation for compulsory acquired land?
It is an issue about what revenue that comes into the coffers of government.
So it's subject to how much money the state has. Is that what we are saying?
Yeah, sometimes
you've compulsorily taken somebody's land. You're meant to pay them fair and adequate and prompt compensation. Yeah. And now you say that there's no money in the government's kitty.
Yes, I have seen some that they have done the valuation. It's huge sums of money. If you say government should pay that, government will not be able.
But government wants that land now.
Yeah, it has taken it, is using it. So what, for me, I have seen some of the cases that we do, is that you negotiate with government. Listen, if it is 200 cedis, government can pay. And in reality, it's so much. And if government can pay me 50 cedis out of that 200, I prefer to take the. So there are kind of negotiations.
Would you say then that the law is not very fair to landowners?
No, because government has admitted that yes, we owe you. Definitely, you will go to court, you will get a judgment. Now, executing that judgment sometimes become a problem. So you have a beautiful judgment. It's we are giving this it's sitting in your office. It's useless. It's an empty paper. Because the process to go through to attach government, get government to pay you, it's cumbersome.
Are there times when government doesn't pay at all? Are there cases where government hasn't paid the compensation?
Oh yes, I know some cases where government hasn't paid, and
and there's nothing one can do about it.
Yes, so that's why it is good maybe to negotiate with government. You negotiate with government, they show some good faith, then you move on. I always believe it is better you do it. then because government can always postpone it, right? Then it's not always that maybe the consolidated account, you can go and attach the consolidated. It's a two different school of thought. Some says you can attach it, some says no. But for the policy underpinning, why should you go and attach money that belongs to all of us? So that's why for me, the best thing to do is to, after it is done, you negotiate, even if the amount will be staggered, so government can amortize that compensation. For me, I think that's the best.
Finally, is this do these land have to be bare lands, or it doesn't matter if there's a structure on the land?
No, it doesn't matter if there are structures on the land. If there's structure, then the value of the structure. That is why when people have a wing, the government is going to acquire a land, then they start to develop, maybe they develop the place, puts huge structures because of the economic
more value.
That is why if you do it within 2 years, no, it will not be taken into consideration.
2 years after government makes it known to you that
2 years prior to the acquisition,
it won't be taken into consideration.
Yes, because you see, it was to forestall that somebody within will not know that this land is going to be acquired. So because it's going to be acquired, they do something to make sure the market value goes up.
But that's very unfair.
No. So that is why sometimes the owners, the people who are affected, if they don't know that land is going to be acquired, the market value goes. But with this, suddenly you see things springing up on the land just to give it a higher value. The law says no. It's a mischief that the law wants to cure.
Wow.
That's why you will see that maybe the owners of the land from the initial stages are not supposed to know that this my land is going to be.
But how would they know? Until you're first approached, you don't know. You just know that you have a parcel of land
until you
somewhere.
are given notice
exactly.
that we have.
So if you want to put up a structure and edifice there,
it's a human institution.
Why should it work against you?
No, it's a human institution we work in.
So you would have gotten some feelings.
Yes, you can insider information. Just like in company trade, we say insider information.
Trading.
Yeah. So some people from there can say, "Hey, that your land, we are going to acquire it." This. Then the people all of a sudden start to do something on it. That is why the law want to cure that mischief. Yeah.
I see. Very, very interesting discussion this morning. Many thanks for your time. I hope there's nothing we've missed. So anything you want to add that we haven't?
No. Just that I always, for me, it is a process. They always say the justice grants slowly. The wheels of justice grant slowly. When it comes to compensation,
especially in these parts.
Yes, because they had always also be fraud in there. The only thing for now is it has to go to Yoko and Attorney General for it to be vetted. Because sometimes you see places where you see collusion. People try to collude so that they can't raise the amount. It's a human institution in which we work. So it is looked at, then the amount also comes in. It's a process. Okay. And I always believe that what you are due, government will always give you. But when you sit down, you sit back and say they've taken my land and you don't kickstart the process, nobody will come and put money on your
right.
That's the
right.
issue.
And I'd also imagine that since this is state acquired, even if government changes, successive governments owe it a duty to pay you your
definitely.
Your due. Okay.
You can hold any government that comes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The faces may change, but it's the same.
It's the same government, same institution, same state. Right. Victor Kwajoga Adaudu is a legal practitioner and also head of Adaudu Law Consultancy, an Accra-based firm, and he joined me this morning to talk about compulsory acquisition of land. A very, very interesting discussion there. This is the chamber here on